The United States seems to have few friends in Egypt right now. Mohamed Morsi supporters believe it's supplying the weapons being used on them in the streets and don't understand why it isn't calling Morsi's overthrow a coup. But even away from the protest camps, the view of Washington isn't much more positive.
America is working for its best interests, not Egypt's best interests. It supported the Muslim Brotherhood for a while. Then it started supporting the people when it felt like they had the upper hand.
The stance of America is not consistent. First it was against what happened on June 30th, then it started going back on that. But it still isn't clear. Are they with or against? But it's typical for the US to wait and see who will win at the end before announcing its support.
So why this lack of trust? At the end of June, as anti-Morsi demonstrations peaked in Egypt, chants against US Ambassador Ann Patterson mingled with those against the then president. The diplomat was seen as being too friendly to the Islamists, inspiring posters like this on Cairo's streets, which equate the US government with terrorism. But John Kerry's recent remarks that the army was restoring democracy by deposing Morsi suggested to Egyptians that Washington's stance had changed. Now, Senators John McCain and Lindsey Graham are in town, having recommended cutting off financial aid because the military had forced a democratically elected president from office. The $1.5 billion a year given to Egypt shows how important Washington thinks this country is for regional stability. But mixed signals are hurting the US's reputation here.
The Muslim Brotherhood is convinced that the United States has so much power that what happened to them on the 3rd of July could not have happened to them unless the United States had actually given the green light. The opposition to the Muslim Brotherhood is equally convinced, if not more so, that the Muslim Brotherhood cannot have stayed in power for the past year without receiving the support of the United States. And I think both of them are wrong.
Wrong or not, this academic and former Egyptian ambassador thinks Egyptians need a better explanation of what the US stands for.
The US will have to show more openness to the Egyptian people, to make itself more understood by the people, and not to be very pushy. This kind of threatening with aid is pushy and is not acceptable by the people.
The US representatives who come to Cairo face a problem somewhat of their own making. They have to talk up democracy at the same time as safeguarding Washington's strategic interests, all whilst trying to avoid too many accusations of hypocrisy. But you only have to talk to a few people here, hop on Twitter or look at the print media. Here we have Morsi satirized as the dissolving beacon of American liberty, to realize that's a campaign the US is currently losing. Rory, Challands, Al Jazeera, Cairo.